I am Dr. Anthony Gaddy. I've been practicing podiatry for approximately 38 years. I started my practice in Georgia in 1974 and had a practice with approximately 8 doctors for 34 years and sold that practice and decided to decrease my time and subspecialize in different aspects of healthcare. And certainly the one that I chose at this point is laser surgery. Individuals can get nail fungus from showers, hotel rooms, dirty floors, dirty footgear. You can get it from pedicures. You can get it from contaminated instruments that you use at home. Work environment where the foot is wet or cold. All of these are factors where someone can get a nail infection.
I think I got it from the nail salons because I had been going for several years, and then I think it just finally happened.
When I was about 9 or 10, I wrecked a bicycle with no shoes on and ripped off 3 of my toenails. And when they grew back, I had problems then, and it just got worse and worse and worse.
Common signs and symptoms of fungal infection in nail plate is enlargement of the nail, discoloration of the nail. The nail plate can become loose and or painful.
Well, I had a thickening nail that I'd had for a while, and I wasn't sure, and then I saw some lines in one of my other nails, and I thought, this just doesn't look quite right.
I was at the beach with a bunch of friends, and one of my buddies looked over and goes, "Those are the ugliest toes I've ever seen in my life. You need to cover those up."
Men just tend to ignore it. What women tend to do, they tend to cover it. They have the ability to cover it. Both of those are a mistake.
I kept my nails painted all the time, and I decided, that just can't be healthy, and I took the nail polish off, and then I was like...
That was kind of when I decided it was time to find something that actually worked.
I went to get them tested, and they said, yeah, well, you have fungus.
There are different methods of determining whether or not a fungus is present. The laser machine that we use is called the Cutera laser. The laser is actually multiple beams of light, laser light. We have the option of concentrating that light into almost a single beam, or we can spread the light into fractional beams to affect a larger area. The light actually penetrates the tissue and it seeks out these cells and these molecules that a cell has. And these molecules have what we call photoreceptors. And the laser actually targets those photoreceptors. And what it does is actually produces some very low-grade heat. And the patient will feel some warmth and some heat in the toe. The laser has no adverse effect. There have been over 20 years of studies on the use of this laser. And there are no real mal-effects that this laser can produce when applied properly. We prescribe initially that we have 3 laser sessions in which we treat the condition. If the infection is chronic, of long term, the probability of getting rid of that infection in 1, 2, or 3 treatments may not be reasonable. And that is a determination only a physician can make. A usual laser treatment on the initial visit may take 45 minutes to an hour. We would do the initial examination. Once we do the examination, then we do an actual sterile nail debridement, which is very different from nail salons. What we do is we actually do a sterile trimming or debridement of the nails. We use instruments that we actually put into a sterilizer, as any surgical instrument would be put in a sterilizer prior to surgery. So we know these instruments are absolutely cleansed. The next thing that we do is we actually mechanically debride. We use an electric grinder to thin that nail plate. And that is a very important factor in why we believe we're more successful at Village Podiatry Laser Centers, is because we're thinning the nail plate, allowing the laser to penetrate the nail plate into the nail bed where a lot of the fungus resides. If you go to a facility where they're not debriding the nail, they're not mechanically debriding the nail at every laser treatment, the effect of the laser can be reduced. Today, I'm going to use a bigger spot size. The spot size that I'm going to use is that circle. I have the option of using the laser, either all the laser lights brought together, it's multiple lights, or I'm going to spread them out in the bigger circle.
There's a small dot that's sort of like the aiming dot.
Right.
Then there's the large, less dramatic circle,
Right.
and that's the treatment size,
That's
called
the
the
treatment
spot
size,
size that
okay.
we're doing. We did do this on ourselves, though, to make sure we knew what patients were feeling.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I'm doing like a grid. I'm kind of going up and down, but I'm trying not to overlap. Overlapping the pulses will create increased heat, and we don't want to do that.
Now my thumb is a temperature gauge. I can tell if the heat is building up within the nail.
Yeah, it kind of takes the heat off of the toenail and toe and puts it into our finger. The one thing we'll concentrate on is back here, where I'm not even on the nail, is where the nail root is. It's called the matrix. So we want to make sure we brush that area with a laser so that we're killing any fungus that may be in the root.
We actually provide the patient an information sheet to take home to review everything that we've discussed with them prior to the discharge of that visit.
Your shoes, once you take those off during a long work hour day, you definitely want to use some Lysol to control the environment inside of the shoe.
Or if they want to use a device called a Steri-Shoe.
Well, the Steri-Shoe is just simple devices that you place into your shoes.
The Steri-Shoe is an infrared light which is inserted into the shoe. Once it's inserted into the shoe is then put into this bag, and the ultraviolet light kills 99.9% of all microorganisms within the shoe.
The last thing is personal care. With personal care, we're talking about just the feet in this area right here.
We ask them to file the nail periodically and to apply an antifungal medication.
He's going to ask you to apply this medicine on your nails 2 times a day. On a weekly basis, you're pretty much going to use an emery board and do the same that I'm doing, which is filing the nail thinner, okay? This will allow the Formula 3 to penetrate that nail. Now, the most successful treatments are the people who actually file their nails. I want you to know this.
I put like a oily type polish on twice a day and kind of massage it in, and that's basically it. And he's also said one other thing which I'd never thought of: wash all my socks inside out with bleach.
I immediately was going to treat it one way or the other, and I read the options, and this didn't have any side effects.
A recommendation from my pediatrician office, and they said that this was a good place to go.
I chose Village Podiatry because they were convenient, very convenient to where I live and work.
I started with the fungus and all 10 toes. And now I'm down to 3.
Now I don't have to cover up what it is. Like, I can just kind of be more comfortable with my nails instead of being self-conscious about them and hiding them.
It's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Oh yes, I would recommend it. I would, because it's taken care of it very easily.